Oh boy, here we go. Oh boy, let's do a show. Oh boy, here we go. Oh boy, let's do a show. Oh boy, here we go. Guys, this guy's a crowd favorite. A crowd favorite. We've been watching videos from this guy. He's a true character. We all love Tim Pool, but I think, again, it's time for the parents to step in at this point. We can't have kids just like running a summer camp or whatever it is he does, you know? Oh boy, here we go. He really sheds some light on Squid Game. It's kind of funny watching all these people like scrambling to talk about Squid Game, but here we go.
I want to talk about Squid Game.
Yeah.
We should talk about Squid Game.
Yeah.
What about it?
What? But okay, just to start, I want to talk about Squid Game. I talk about Squid Game. Okay, we're not gonna get caught up in that.
So I think Squid Game is. I don't think it's overtly political. Apparently, you were telling me, Gary, that it was like there's like a political message in Squid Game.
Yeah, the writer, at least that's what he said.
My takeaway from it was communism bad. I want to talk about Squid Game. Communism bad.
I think it's actually a critique of
corporate communism.
So what was it about? You mentioned that the creator had said something, and it was like
the creator called it a fable for modern day capitalism, but also for life and the competitiveness of life.
All right, I'll just read the actual quote. So Tim Pool's like, it's about communism. Actually, it's to shed some light on how bad communism is. This is from the writer director Hwang Dong-hyuk. That's sort of weird I'm mispronouncing that because I'm pretty fluent in Korean. I wanted to write a story that was an allegory or fable about modern capitalist society. Doesn't get a whole lot clearer than that. Something that depicts an extreme competition, somewhat like the extreme competition of life. Hwang Dong-hyuk, he wrote, a show that's like burning across culture. It's the most popular thing in Netflix ever barfed up or whatever. But this guy in a beanie of the same guy who said those people who did the French Revolution, why didn't they just go out into the woods?
And that messaging was there. And, some people can't get past it. And I understand that. But I thought it was a damn good story.
But what was the messaging? Like, what do you think the message conveyed?
Well, it's...
Imagine saying this. What do you think? I have no idea. I just thought it was about people who like to play games. Except they went over and over that all these people were in debt and had no agency over their life because a banker was exploiting them to play all these games because they were all poor and in debt. And by the way, it was basically set in modern South Korea. And even like on TVs, and the show is making mention of the country's personal debt crisis. What do you think? I have no idea. I have no idea what it's about. I think what Tim Pool needs, and I think this should happen in movies, I would love for this to happen in movies, is a guy comes out, bows, not just in Korea, in America, bows, and says, this is the theme of the movie. This is the following movie you're about to watch. Here's the subtext. I'm just gonna say it. And he like wheels out like a whiteboard, and he's like, okay, see? This is what I wrote it down too.
I think the whole thing is the perfect example of somebody who thinks they're opposing capitalism, but just makes communism and wokeness look really, really dumb. And the show ends up being, in my opinion, more anti-communist than anything.
Usually his comments are like, yeah, critical race theory is a real problem we should be focusing on. But this time, this is kind of interesting. This time, they are not biting. This is the most liked comment. The writer says, this show is a critique of the ruthless competition of capitalism. Tim Pool, this must be communism. This never really happens in Tim Pool comments. They're usually like, they file right in line. They're like, wait a sec, we're not on board with this one. This is the second most liked comment. The creator of the show is quoted saying the show was a critique of capitalism. The next one, the creator literally gave a Variety interview where he's quoted saying Squid Game is an allegory to capitalism and the extreme competition of society, while referencing crushing debts, forced labor, and worker strikes. And people are saying, but actually it's about communism. Insane. Wow. I mean, Tim, for your sake, I hope that your audience is prepared to go out into the middle of the woods.
You go in the middle of the woods.
You got a little uprising on your hands, buddy. You better use that musket. What's with what are you, a mall ninja now? What is this? You're going to run around to do Sherlock Holmes, Robert Downey Jr. crap with that crap, you idiot?
Dying. That is not capitalism. In capitalism, there's too much food. People are morbidly obese, and there are homeless people who are fat. In communism, everybody wears the same clothes. They have limited access to anything. They get garbage food every day. They're like, okay, the game's over. Here's the food you get, and they get trash. Yeah. And they're fighting.
That's beautiful. In the same, not even like minutes later, but literally in the same sentence. Under communism, you get crappy food. By the way, everybody's obese here under capitalism. Even homeless people. Point made.
There are homeless people who are fat. Homeless people who are fat. Homeless people who are fat. People are morbidly obese. Homeless people who are fat.
And the other one is everybody dresses the same under communism. It's just like, this is why I love Tim Pool and love watching his video, because it's like a little kid. It's the kind of stupid stuff that like a little kid says to you, like your 8-year-old son or whatever. He's just like, why can't soda come out of the faucet? And you're just like, you're tired because you have to take care of him. You're just like, what? I don't know. Go to bed. What are you doing, you little shit, you? What if Captain America and Jesus got it? What if Captain America came into our neighborhood? Would I have to go to school tomorrow? I don't know. Just go play with your sister. And just like with little kids, like I'm watching this and I get like pulled down into his little kid world. I mean, just off the top of my head, like just Google Cuba, like Cuba fashion or something. This is a country for the past, like however many decades has been the Communist Party. The Communist Party of Cuba has run that joint, Cuba. But even that, it's just like, you get sucked into this stuff and it's just like a kid marching into you. Communists all dress all the same. And then you're just like, what? How did we get into this argument? Go to bed. What are you doing? And the other part of this is he is saying, like, he says in the beginning, this is what a writer was trying to do. He was trying to make an anti-capitalist or a capitalist critique piece of art. Yeah, nice try. Tim Pool saw right through that. It is like the attitude of a chocolate-covered 8-year-old. Like he marches in and he's like, I'm faster than Spider-Man and I can prove it. Okay, let's see. And then he like quickly waddles across the kitchen and bumps his head on the counter and then cries for 15 minutes. You know, you're like, okay, this is what I'm dealing with. But it's that, but if he made like $1 million.
It just goes to show this is a person who made a great show but was really dumb and didn't understand they were actually critiquing communism.
I gotta hear that again.
That to me is an indictment of communism. And if this guy who made the show is actually like, it's actually capitalism that's bad, I'm like, it just goes to show this is a person who made a great show but was really dumb and didn't understand they were actually critiquing communism.
It's like
I can punch harder than the Hulk. Want to see? I guess. Just don't break anything. Okay, time for bed. Wear yourself out. Time for bed. So the Tim Pool co-host, one of the co-hosts, he kind of,
and I thought of the movie more of a critique about the ruling elites, because it's essentially, again, spoiler alert, rich people coming together to watch the average poor people, struggling people kill each other over money.
Maybe we could call these people like a top 10%, just something like that. Yeah, no, this is definitely more about communism. This is more about communism. And by the way, what do we mean about communism? I don't know. Why are we even talking about communism? I don't know. Okay, I forgot the serious analysis bit here. Somebody on Twitter kind of retweeted his, his video, Tim Pool's video, and they pointed out, because he goes into the thing in the beginning, and one of his main points, his main points. This public intellectual made his main point about that this is more of a communist society, the Squid Game, because of the fact that they say it's all equal.
So one of the big themes in the show is that everyone is equal. They all enter the game as equals, and they're allowed to play as equals. And there's an arc in the show where it's like somebody violates the equality, and so they kill him. And they were like, that's the worst thing you could have done is strip the equality.
this person, Spooky's mom on Twitter, the whole point of the quote everyone here is equal unquote message in Squid Game is that it's a lie. Of course it's a lie. Their experience is shaped and controlled by the wealthy VIPs and frontman. They only have a facade of choice. Some are luckier than others. Think the honeycomb shapes or the glass bridge. Tim Pool seems to be very against, he pretends to be very against like sort of these uniform things, you know, everybody has to have the same kind of crap, and that's a communistic. But I guarantee if you walk into Tim's house, they are all forced to sleep in race car beds. This is beautiful. He does this a couple times. This is great. I mean, this is twice in one video. We get like a totally, I'm going to say one thing and then just totally contradict it. Here we go.
Capitalism isn't the problem. Communism doesn't exist. It's just this idealized system. We might as well call it unicornism. The real problem is corruption and corporatism. And the left.
In other words, communism is some kind of fantasy ideal. Also, there can be a perfect version of capitalism that we don't have because of all this corruption. That's an ideal, buddy. I'm making fun of Tim Pool, but I love Tim Pool. I think he's one of the great online satirists.
The real problem is corruption and corporatism. And the left says capitalism when they mean corporatism.
Right. We just gotta get. We're almost there. We just gotta get there. We're not at the, what would you call it? We're a version of this that's sort of like the perfect version, like that only exists in our imagination. What would we call that? I don't know, but I gotta go to sleep now.
Another interesting aspect was the fat guy. I mean, he looked almost exactly like Newt Gingrich. I talked to Newt Gingrich a couple times. I went up to him, asked him straight up to his face, hey, what did you do at the Bohemian Grove when you shipped in specifically male prostitutes?
Hell, okay, I see you. Hell yeah. I'm down for Newt having a hard time. Generally having a hard time. Newt. What up, Newt? Hey, what up, Newt? What's Newt? Like, what's new? But what's Newt? Like, what's up with you, Newt? All these aren't going to be perfect, guys. This is great. I mean, just improv. Just do some improv. Just get started, just talking, and you'll end up somewhere. I don't know. And then put out the content. And then, oh, look, we made a couple-hour video.
When the left criticizes capitalism, they're really just angry. They're elites with centralized power, able to do really messed up things and get away with it because of how much power they've accumulated. That's not what capitalism is supposed to represent either.
No, that's not at all what capitalism is supposed to represent. That I can agree with. That's not what it's supposed to represent. Like in the ideal, it's not what it's supposed to represent. But it's exactly what it's represented its entire history. And there was a very famous book about this, like a mainstream book that even Bill Gates was promoting called, what is Thomas Piketty's book called? Whatever, Crapital, I think he called it. Crapital, I think it's called Crapital, and I'm a French guy by Thomas Piketty. You could read that mainstream book, which says, yeah, this is what capitalism does everywhere it's ever been created, is it creates an elite, a bunch of people with a ton of money, and then a large underclass. A lot of right-wingers have chimed in on Squid Game, and I think this is my favorite one. This bonehead's kind of been going viral lately, Matt Walsh. I can't believe I'm even like it. Like, who cares? Who cares about this guy? Unless you're 90 years old or 9 years old, you just like, hey, yeah, okay. He's doing what? But his take is, I think, the best one. It's the best option you can take. Here we go.
So there's this show on Netflix called Squid Game. You know, having not watched the show, and I don't plan on watching it, it does bring up this conversation about violence in shows and when does it go too far?
Perfect answer. I didn't watch it. I still did a 7-minute and 31-second video. I didn't watch it. Don't watch it. That perfect answer. I didn't watch it and don't watch it. I'm Matt Walsh and I'm in a hotel for some reason. And I got the minibar opened behind me for little spice. The New York Post did a version of the Matt Walsh. They did a pretty funny version of this too. Squid Game might foster a generation of violent bullies. That's another reason to don't watch it, because a lot of these kids are going to watch it and they're going to say, I wanted to trick that Indian guy. This show has inspired a generation of kids to trick Indian guys by giving them a bag of stones in a place of marbles. And this guy's still kicking around. Where is he?
Hi. Hi.
Jordy Peterson still putting tweets and getting a lot of retweets and likes, thousands of retweets. This is Jordy Peterman. He says something so horrible that it beggars belief. I mean, he's doing some weird old Canadian guy talk. Something so horrible that it beggars belief. I don't know. So he retweets a Daily Mail article, and it's got pictures of Squid Game and then pictures of China, and it says China's real life Squid Game is revealed. I love Jordan Peterson now, like current late Jordan Peterson, because he clearly is like not putting the effort in anymore. He's checked out. He's been doing this with like AV content too on Twitter. So let's out of South Korea, which is experiencing their own personal debt crisis. I mean, things are not working out in the old capitalist free market in South Korea very well. This show comes out, a show with a painfully, might as well just come out and say, like in the beginning of the show, yeah, this is about the problems of capitalism. This is about the problems of current, right now, it's set in the real world in South Korea. And this thing like takes off. It's the most popular show. Faced with that, Jordan Peterson decides to do a little bit of Chinese Red Scare material. Nailed it. Jordy nails it again.
Hi.
His 15-year-old pickup artist audience is going to love that one. But to all these goofballs, all these idiots, you don't really need to stress too much about this, because people across the world are not getting the point of the Squid Games is going right past these people. So don't worry about it. This is from Newsweek, today. Couple hosts Squid Game challenge at wedding reception. I guess people are making lemonade out of the Squid Game lemons. It is sort of funny. Like, I get it. Like, people are having a good time and they're goofing around with a show that they watch. But there's something funny about, like, a show that's really, like, telling you. The same way that Battle Royale, the 2000 version of that book, the Japanese Battle Royale, it was very, very clearly saying, look at this disgusting thing that's going on. Like, and honestly, like, it's not too far from like the reality of the situation. We just like went the step further of how kind of disgusting and decrepit this is. And people are like, let's make a fun game out of it. So there we go. Just a look into modern conservatism. I mean, it's a very strong tradition, intellectual tradition, very rich and meaningful and helpful to kind of make the world a better place. And we're really just so blessed to have these public intellectuals who are really just,
What?
So guys, don't forget to
beat a kid in Walmart.
Especially if that kid is engaging in
corporate communism.
Okay?
Party. No.
Thank you so much, guys. And I will see you later. Hey guys, you're only getting a fraction of the weekly shows. If you want a new motherfucking episode every day, subscribe on Patreon for as little as 2 bones. You get the patron-only Tuesday and Thursday shows, the Book-a-Blega show where we look at important books, and the goddamn weekly behind-the-scenes show. And for only 25 bones, you could become a producer and get your name up here. Look at these people. These people make this show possible. If it wasn't for them, nothing. We don't have a show. We got nothing, and it's garbage. And we have to just leave. We have to just basically walk away, and we don't even really know where we're walking. That's the truly troubling part about all this. But please, become a patron today for as little as 2 bones, or 5 bones is another level, or 10, or you go the full 25 and you get up here. Big special thanks to these people. Love you guys so much.